support from Senator Tom Courtney. Would love to have about 5 more Senator Courtneys in the Iowa Senate right now. Good to have family here. My father Randy is with us. Some other members of the family here too. We are very encouraged by what happened yesterday. For those of you who don't know, it was the Democratic conventions across the state, county conventions, and places like Des Moines County, Wayzata County, Polk County. We had a great performance and a great start to our campaign season here in 2018. So I want to thank each and every one of you that showed up at your county convention, helped us with a good, strong start going into the next 72 days as we go into the primaries. So thank you for being there for that. A little bit of my background. I grew up in Columbus Junction, proud graduate of Columbus Community High School. My mom and stepdad still live on a heritage farm just outside of Columbus Junction. In fact, stayed the night there as we had the tractor powering the generator in the snowstorm. You wouldn't think there was anything that happened out there today. I want to tell you, my upbringing in Southeast Iowa defines a lot about my campaign and what we're doing in this state. When I ran for the Iowa Senate, it was to help people like my parents and grandparents. We wanted to see better workplace protections. We want to see a better quality of life for people across our state, particularly in our rural communities. But when I got to the Iowa Senate, we had a very different agenda playing out. You had Branstad and Reynolds with full control of state government, and using that opportunity to actually decrease our quality of life, actually compromise our future. And that's frustrating. And I know a lot of you stood up to that as we did in the Iowa Senate. I'm proud to be a part of this movement that we are building to start turning things around. Because when we think about the things that unite us as Democrats, the things that are our values and beliefs, we believe that every student in Iowa should be entitled to a quality, world-class education in our state, in our public schools. We believe that we ought to have access to health care in our communities, regardless of our income level or what corner of the state we live in. We believe that our economy is driven by our people, not the amount of money we can hand out to corporations and ruin our state budget with, but actually making sure we have a qualified, skilled workforce to drive economic development for the long term. We believe that our natural resources here, our soil and our water, can feed the world as well as provide economic opportunity through tourism. We can do those things if we get back to our values. And those aren't just Democratic values. Those aren't urban versus rural values. Those are Iowa values. They haven't changed over the years. They simply need people standing up and leading on them again. That's what got me in this race for governor. You look at all the things that happened in the past year and a half in particular. The agenda is played out that is held back and taken away from our quality of life. I tell you, I believe this election that we are in and this fight that we are in right now is a fight for the soul of our state. We're going to determine Iowa's long-term future with the actions we take this year. If you want a perfect example of that, when I go back to the Senate this week, they're going to take up private school vouchers. After 8 years of underfunding our schools, after last year's public sector bargaining bill told everyone entering the profession of teaching they will never see a wage increase to keep up with inflation, they're going to cut and then run to private school vouchers. Iowa is better than that. Iowa is a state where we have prided ourselves on our public education system, yet right now we are going to fight for its very existence in the long-term future. That's unacceptable. So when we talk about the things that we hope to accomplish in this election, we can't just talk about all the things we are against. We have to offer that positive vision forward. If we're going to make progress in this state, we can't do it by accident or by default. We have to lead to that future that we want to be a part of. Think about what Iowa can look like if instead of their plans to get rid of IFERS as we know it and compromise the security of the retirement of thousands of public employees across this state, we actually find ways for more people to invest in secure public managed retirement fund. Those are things we can do. I've offered legislation that instead of devaluing our workforce, we expand workplace rights and protections, including paid family leave. So we have the next generation of skilled workers choosing to come to and stay in our state. Instead of cutting and running on education, what if we were able to recruit the next generation of qualified teachers into our classrooms to make sure that every student in Iowa, no matter where they grow up or who their parents are, reaches their full potential with an Iowa-based education? No state has ever made its future stronger by abandoning the education of its children. Those are things we can accomplish. We can answer the problem of climate change with economic development, Iowa wind and solar technologies, job creation for the long term. We can add value to our agricultural system. So when you take corn and soybeans out of our field, we don't see value added to them across other states' borders. We can do those things that actually make Iowa an attractive place for the next generation and make our future something we're proud and excited to see live out. So that's why I'm running for governor, because I believe we can do that at this moment. This is our opportunity. I'm proud to have visited 99 counties in this campaign, talking with voters across the state. Proud to be supported by 23 of my House and Senate colleagues who are ready to take action for Iowa's future. Proud to be supported by labor unions representing over 100,000 Iowa workers who are desperate to see their quality of life and way of life continued in this state. We have some tough challenges ahead. When we talk about the security of our future, it has to be in making sure we have access to quality health care. While Kim Reynolds may have admitted during her conditions of the state address that mistakes were made in privatized Medicaid, she hasn't found any solutions to it. Well, in the Senate, all of our Democrats have found a solution. It's canceling the privatized Medicaid contracts and getting us out of the system that has failed our families and our children. So as we think about those challenges that we face, we also have to think about the opportunity we have. As I said before, we don't lead our way into the future by accident or by default. It takes a new generation of Iowans stepping up to lead for our state's future. We're building that network across the state. I'm proud of our performance in the conventions across Iowa in this Democratic primary, but we've got 72 days to go to get there. We need your help. We need your help with the resources we need to reach as many Iowans as possible in their homes. We need your help reaching out to your friends, your family members, your neighbors, because this is not going to be done with one or two of us doing it alone. We have to build the movement necessary, because this is it. If we don't make changes in 2018, we're going to see a very different Iowa in the future. So the choices we make today, the actions that we take today, will determine what that future looks like. Will we be able to talk about the things that we did here in 2018 that secured Iowa's future, or will we talk about missed opportunities? I think Iowans are ready for the change. That's why I'm ready for governor. Thanks so much. I know we probably have some question askers. So what do we have? What issues are on your minds? Nothing, we're all good.
Let me ask you what I asked the other day, Fred Hummel was here.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I asked you the same question. What brings you to the top of the candidates that are running for governor? He had not so good answer, so.
Well, it's good to hear. I'll tell you, I think part of my profile is what makes this opportunity unique for the movement that we are building. I think the fact that I grew up here in southeast Iowa, but now represent a much more urban part of the district, puts me in a position to show that these aren't urban versus rural values that I'm talking about. There are shared values. When you underfund the school system in urban Iowa, it means crowded classrooms. In rural Iowa, it means consolidation. But it has consequences. So I think talking about the shared values that are at stake is something that I'm positioned to do. I think my active role in the legislature is going to be critical to not just talking about an agenda, but taking action on it and getting that agenda passed through the legislative process. I've worked with Republicans, I've worked with House members and senators to get things done. There haven't been a whole lot of Democratic amendments that got through this process, but I've been able to get 2 of them through because I've been able to work with people on the other side of the aisle. When I saw that there was a bill that dealt with volunteer firefighters who also serve on city councils. Senator Guth from North Iowa, he and I probably don't get along on a lot of the hot-button political issues in our state. But I'll tell you what, he had a bill that was going to take away, in my opinion, the ability for a firefighter who also answers the call of public service as a city council member to recover when they were injured at a fire call. So if they lost wages, they would be the only firefighter in that situation that wouldn't have the support of benefits. I don't think he meant to do it, but I saw the error in what he was doing and went to him and said, let's fix this. Now I could have laid back and wait, and I could have blistered him on the floor about what he was doing, or we could have made sure that those city council members who also as firefighters are taking